Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Rhyme of the Times for the weekend in 28th of December 2024. A man in a car causes devastation and a police investigation, and the germination of much speculation in the germination. Russian obfuscation over an aircraft's ruination. Farage and Badenoch in disputation over the size of their congregations. Figures on illegal migration and economic stagnation cause more consternation. Christmas Day inspiration from the King's declamation to the nation. On Sunday, Magdeburg Centre was a crime scene. People trying to work out what it all means, and some dealing with what they had seen in the early hours of the Saturday just been, when unexpected chaos suddenly intervened, where before all had been happy and serene. As evidence from the tragedy was gleaned, public opinion this way and that leaned. The perpetrator was Muslim. So many opined. He was obviously of a mind of a certain kind, by religion defined and jihadists assigned. But if they bothered to look closely, they would find, seeing this Saudi as an Islamist would be blind. Though he obviously had some axe to grind, he was a respected psychiatrist who just lost his mind. So drove a car onto a pavement and then ploughed into a shocked and terrified festive crowd. So far the death count is mercifully just 5, but 300 were hurt, some lucky to survive. Taleb al-Abdul Mohsen is still alive after his inexplicable death-dealing drive. On Christmas Day, an aeroplane fell out of the sky, causing 38 passengers to die. The plane had taken off from Baku, Azerbaijan, crashed to the ground in Kazakhstan. Early indications are Russian flak caused it, something Putin, of course, does not admit. The first version from Moscow that we heard, it was caused by birds, which is frankly for the birds. Russia said sorry, but it wasn't responsible for doing something so unconscionable. In Russia, probably holed up in some Putin pad, is the failed Syrian despot Bashar al-Assad. And we hear his British wife Asma now wants out, having had her fill of her feckless spouse, no doubt. Whether she gets a divorce or leukemia takes her life, the former Syrian president will soon lose his wife. While most of us were taking our Christmas break, in the background rumbling like a distant earthquake, Badenoch and Farage unto each other spake in tones uncivil on a matter of high stakes. Had Reform UK's membership really overtaken the Tories? Kemi claimed Nige was mistaken. She insisted Reform's figures weren't half fake. Nige retorted that her argument was half-baked. In such a squabble, should two grown-ups partake? My part is bigger than yours, for goodness sake. For Nige, was it a wind-up, a silly piss-take? For Kemi, getting rattled, was that a mistake? Showing the sensitivity of a Gen Z snowflake? Or was it an undertaking she could not forsake, to show Tories still have a bigger share of the cake, and Reform's just a brief irritant, like toothache? For many, of course, Farage is Marmite, and Labour's split in two with news that Starmer might use Farage and Mandelson to work in tandem to handle Trump if he becomes a bit random. Reform UK's leader is a Trump friend and fan. Our new US ambassador could use such a man. It's not just for Pete's sake, from what we can tell. Keeping Trump sweet will surely help Britain as well. Some Labour MPs find this hard to swallow, others hold their nose and will reluctantly follow. Of course, since winning the election this year, a turbulent 6 months has followed for Sir Keir, and this week more statistics were released that certainly won't cause the pressure to be eased. On Monday we heard that for a second quarter the British economy's been treading water. 2 zero growth quarters in succession means we're on the cusp of another recession. Smash the gangs is one of Keir's oft quoted quotes when he's explaining how he'll stop the boats, but this week figures to give Starmer sharp pangs, showing records are being smashed instead of the gangs. On the warmest Christmas day for many a year, 450 migrants crossed the Channel to get here. That's 35,500 in 2024, a 21% increase on the year before. And to make the PM feel even more glum, it'll be freezing this Christmas is Christmas number 1. Lonely this Christmas, a mud hit way back when, now used to sling more mud at number 10. A takeoff of 1974's Christmas top song, now taking off in style half a century on. Sir Starmer and the Granny Harmer's parody used to mock Labour's winter fuel payment policy. The Beebs' Christmas Day couldn't have been much better, with 2 popular double acts in a double header. After another year of stick, this was Auntie's perfect tonic with Gavin and Stacey and Wallace and Gromit. Viewing figures that were higher than for quite some while, giving reason for traditionalists to share a wry smile. It seems Christmas days of the past were resurrected as families around the goggle box collected. And finally, the third King's speech from Charles III by millions around the globe was seen and heard. For the King and his daughter-in-law, Kate, just getting this far is something to celebrate. An annus horribilis, if ever there was one, with cancer and more anti-antics to overcome. But Charles is a voice of calm, assured of himself. Even those who begrudge him his status and wealth surely can wish him and his family good health.